From the first days of the 2022 invasion of Ukraine, Russia has been harshly tasking civilians for a pro-Ukrainian position in the temporarily occupied territories. Any manifestation of Ukrainian patriotism can be a reason for arrest and torture. Cities in the occupied territories are simply turning into military concentration camps.
Unfortunately, people are disappearing. The number of missing people can amount to thousands. They simply went missing and no one knows anything about their fate. This happens permanently. This is genocide. If someone expresses their dissatisfaction or protest, these people simply disappear.
According to the Ukrainian Center of National Resistance, the Russians create separate detachments under the so-called Ministry of Internal Affairs in the temporarily occupied territories to filter the local population.
In particular, it is these policemen who will carry out checks of the population equipment as well as guard the filtration camps where the occupiers illegally detain Ukrainians who are suspected of disloyalty, from a message on the National Resistance Center of Ukraine website.
According to the Verkhovna Rada Commissioner for Human Rights, Dmytro Lubinets, the occupation army illegally took almost 3 million Ukrainians to Russian territory in the first year of the full-scale war alone. They all went through the so-called filtration camps. In June 2022, Radio Liberty reported on 11 such institutions in the territory of the so-called Donetsk People's Republic. According to the Center of National Resistance, the Kremlin is developing a whole system of such camps in Russia.
In the Volga region in Russia, large-scale construction of filtration camps under the guise of children's pioneer camps has begun. These are quickly built modular houses, more like barracks, that will accommodate hundreds of visitors. The Kremlin has been building a system of filtration camps since the beginning of its invasion of Ukraine. In such zones, people are tested for loyalty to their occupation authorities. They are also trying to create a database of residents of the occupied territories. From a publication by the National Resistance Center of Ukraine.
The humanitarian crisis is worsening in the temporarily occupied territory of Ukraine. Due to total impunity, crime is growing. There remains a shortage of medicines and medical personnel. In addition, there is an order on priority medical care for Russian military personnel. Because of this, the death rate among civilians is increasing. In Mariupol, for example, 20% of the pre-war population remained.
Everything that is done on the territory of occupied Mariupol and the occupied parts of Ukrainian territories is simple, banal income for the invaders and collaborators. Everything they can make money from: spontaneous trade, drug trafficking, prostitution. The Russians brought it all with them to occupied Mariupol.
In addition, the Russian invaders force Ukrainian students to work for the Federation's industry. They are formed into work teams and forced to go to enterprises on the territory of Russia. Thus, in particular, according to the Center of National Resistance, 50 students from the Luhansk region were sent to the Kamaz plant, where they assemble equipment for the Russian military-industrial complex. Reported by Halina Babenko, Victoria Smirnova, UATV News.